Guess what I'm in? I'm in the Honda. I'm just taking her for a spin. So get this. I took my car, actually had it towed. Let Pep Boys tell it. The transmission was done. I already told y'all about that. So we had the car towed home, us thinking that the transmission was done, and how it was when we drove it to Pep Boys, when it was slipping gears, it wouldn't get any power, stuff like that. So we had it towed to a local spot. Hashtag black owned. They looked at it. They basically said that there was some things that need to be serviced on the transmission and that he was gonna write it up. All right, cool, write it up. We'll give it to Pep Boys because the claim is still open. You feel me? Like a week goes by, dude still didn't write it up. So I'm like, Adrian, call him. Like another week goes by, dude still didn't write it up. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna write it up. I'm like, if you put this on the machine, all you gotta do is print out the diagnostic report and then write down anything that needs to be done. Like, why is it taking so long? So Adrian was like, he met the guys, they're not really intellectuals, so he probably really doesn't want to write it up because that's like a whole thing for him. So I was like, oh, okay, so that's what we're dealing with now. We're dealing with people who own businesses that don't want to do paperwork. But he's not saying that he doesn't want to do the paperwork. He's just not writing it up. But he keeps saying he's going to. So now we're on spring break this week. Adrian called over there. Now the dude on vacation. Now I'm ticked off. And we were riding in the car yesterday. We were passing by Mr. Transmission, which is like, I think more of a chain spot. Anyway, we decided to take it to Mr. Transmission because I was like, yo, we're just gonna have to take it somewhere so that we can get a diagnostic and then get an estimate. That was me just talking out the side of my neck in frustration when we were riding around. Then when we got home, Adrian was like, do you just want to take it to Mr. Transmission? I said, we're gonna have to do something because this is ridiculous. And I'm about to go off on a tangent. This is what I can't stand about black-owned businesses. And I could say it because it's the truth. And if you have a problem with what I'm talking about, then you're just not being realistic. There is a severe issue with customer service and doing things the right way when it comes to black-owned businesses. For the most part, I would say 90-something% of the black-owned businesses that I've dealt with or attempted to deal with have always had an issue with customer service. Bruh, we went there, we had the diagnostic, you did it, we paid you for the diagnostic, which was you looking at the car, and then you couldn't write it up. Why? Why is it taking this long? And if you're not gonna do it, say you're not gonna do it, and then I'll just go on Google and write a poor review, which I'm gonna do anyway, dog. Be mad if you want to, but this is ridiculous. We really have to stop with this poor customer service. Adrian looks it up on the interweb. It's like gonna cost $130 to $150 according to Google. However, when he calls Mr. Transmission, they tell him that the diagnostic is free. So we're like, bet. Pull up to Mr. Transmission and we go to the park. They call us while we're at the park and get this, bro. They're like, we put it on the machine. No alerts came back. We looked at it, couldn't find anything. Then checked the transmission fluid, noticed that it was low on transmission fluid. So we filled the transmission fluid up, and then we drove it for like 20 minutes and couldn't find anything. There was so nothing wrong that we could see that I don't even have anything to write up for the Pep Boys claim department. I swear to the Lord, y'all, Pep Boys was lying. It ain't over. Now, I called my mom and I was talking to my mom about the situation. My first instinct was that they was capping, which makes me think, did I even have a crack in the axle? Because how did I have a crack in the axle when I couldn't hear nothing? There was no clacking. I heard nothing. There was no problem with me driving, nothing. Why was the transmission fluid low? The last people that touched my car was Pep Boys. Did y'all drain my transmission fluid? Did you fill it back up? Did anybody check? I'm driving the car right now, I don't feel nothing. But we're gonna give it some time. The people at Mr. Transmission said, drive it for a couple weeks. If you feel anything, let us know and bring it back. So now we in the middle of a scientific study because we have to see if Pep Boys was capping. And if Pep Boys was capping, y'all, I'm gonna have a problem.